the stop sign in front of the station. People swarmed out and barely looked where they walked, because their eyes were glued to their smartphones. Maybe they were playing Pokemon Go in the early hours of the morning. They could step in front of the car at any second. His foot lingered over the brake pedal. Yeah, I read it, and I don't think there's anything more to find. It's probably just a coincidence that Johan Boje had it in his drawer. I think it has more to do with his affair than anything else. We're looking for a cop who's had a relationship with Johan Boje. Jealousy is the #1 reason for murder. We'll know more when we've spoken to the rest of his co-workers. Roland turned on the radio. They rode in silence for the rest of the trip. When they passed the bridge at Silkeborg, he enjoyed the sight of the morning sun reflecting in the Gudenå. The fog was lingering on top of the water, between the reeds, like in a fairy tale that was telling a story of a cold, clear, and almost windless night. Carina was sleeping. Roland felt surprisingly awake. Irene had waited to eat until he came home last night. They had eaten together and had a few glasses of good red wine. Afterwards, he walked his Alsatian, Angelo, and despite the cold, he would smell spring in the air and could see how the blue crocuses under the tree had closed up for the night. He felt invigorated when he came back inside. Irene had gone to bed, but she had not put on her pajamas. They'd made love. He accidentally sighed out loud and looked to Carina, but her eyes were still closed, so she had probably not heard him. This time, they were not there before the police inspector Axel Borg. He had made sure the cafeteria was free for them to use as an interrogation room. The table had plastic cups and freshly brewed coffee. The first officer introduced himself as Benny Lund. Yes, he did indeed own a dark Peugeot, but it was 108, not 208. He also had an alibi for the time of the murder, which turned out to be true. He had held his daughter's hand at a hospital in Viborg. She was admitted with a case of appendicitis. He could not have done it. Frank Toft sat hesitantly at the table. Roland had seen in his papers that he was a bachelor, a fact that puzzled him when he saw the officer. He was a good-looking man who could probably make quite a few girls swoon. He was tall and buff, with a strong jaw and chin, and a nice symmetrical face. Roland poured a cup of coffee and took a mouthful before leaning back in his chair and looking challengingly at him. Even though he looked like his thoughts were somewhere else, Frank answered their questions calmly, but he could not remember where he was during the time of the murder. I was at a bar somewhere. I don't remember which one. I'd asked Johan if he wanted to come. We often drank a beer after work. He liked partying. Frank shot them a small, careful smile, as if the words brought back good memories. But he said he had to work on an old case. He'd found a new lead. Which case? I didn't ask him. Johan wasn't my partner, and I thought it was just the drug case. We still needed to go over a few details. Where did you go? I roamed around, so I can't say exactly where I was, he answered, and looked at them innocently. So you don't have an alibi for that night? Carina concluded. No, but I can assure you I didn't kill Johan. He was my friend and a good drinking buddy. At least he used to be. That changed. Why? Johan changed. He used to hang out with Jeanette a lot. I guess you already know that. Roland did not know whether it was a question or a statement, but he still nodded. Was that a secret? Carina asked. Her voice made it sound like she was the one who had been cheated on. Not for me. Johan met Jeanette on a night when we were out together, so it was impossible for me not to know. She was a lovely girl. Were you into her too?